Hello, hello, hello. I do believe that we are live. Sorry, we're a little bit late for anybody that was coming in, but we were backstage talking a little bit of fantasy football for everybody out there that's in fantasy. Hope that you are doing well and not too crippled up like our two teams seem to be, but we'll get into that later. Today, we are here to talk about Cobra Kai. How you doing this week, Andy?
I am great, and I'm glad you're catching up. You're getting to, the good stuff. This is the week where we can talk about some stuff that you wanted to last week, and I didn't think it was a good idea. So,
yeah, you're doing awesome at the non-spoilers. I appreciate the Ginger just not breaking it down for the rest of us that aren't there yet.
That's a struggle for me. We all know this. I'm terrible about it.
That's right, Peter Griffin. Sweep the leg. Put him in a body bag, Johnny. It's Cobra Kai time. Oh, yeah, it is definitely ready to go. Christian Oles, good to see you out there, brother. Good to see you. Oh, man. So this week, we're talking some Escalito, Season 1, Episode 3. This week opens up with Miguel listening to his newfound love of 80s music with rap playing in the background. And he doesn't seem to be the only one that likes it. It seems like Grandma's kind of into it, too. What do you think about that?
That's awesome. I like they're getting the whole feel. They're like, the blending of generations, right? He's like, hold on, let me show you something. I like that whole thing.
Dude, I'm telling you, we're going to be getting into it, but Grandma's turning into one of my favorite characters in this whole show, dude. Grandma is so dope.
Yo, the last episode of this season, mark my words, you will say she is your favorite character. It might be the second last episode, but...
Oh, dude, I'm calling it. In Season 1, Episode 3, Grandma, one of my favorites. She is just amazing. Dude, when she goes back to ask Miguel to set the table and hears him, like, answering that panting voice, and he's like, all right, almost done. And Grandma thinks she knows exactly what's going on, just whispering, just jerking off. I was dying, dude. Like, we instantly see why this show is such a hit.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, they don't care. They don't care about, like... to do funny stuff like that, and that's the best.
Yeah,
and like I told you before, before we went on, it's the creator of Hot Tub Time Machine. He helped create this show, so that's why there's stuff like that in it, and that humor.
Nice. What's up? We got the 1-2 David Adams that just stopped in to say, hey, good to see you, brother. It's been too long. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, you got to watch this Cobra Kai. It took me forever to catch on, too, but I am loving the ride so far. And this is a great time to jump in, anybody who hasn't watched it yet, because we're only talking about Episode 3 right now, so it's real easy to catch up. So get on it. It is worth your time, I'm telling you. Yeah, I heard about it forever. You got to watch it. And I think it was finally Jake Cruz that pushed it over the line, like, man, you and Andy have got to get in there and watch some Cobra Kai and break it down. I was like, man, that's like the 10th person. We're doing it. Let's get it.
Hey, Jake Cruz, can you start talking about telling him to watch The Wire?
Oh, shit. Here we go. So backing it up with Grandma's that Grandma and Miguel and Mom are all sitting there, and she's talking about, you want a Deadpool costume? We'll make you a Deadpool costume. And just Grandma, again, just instantly gives that sarcastic laugh talking about, this isn't a sweatshop. I was like, just no hold bars, dude. There's nothing off limits so far in this show.
Hilarious, man.
Oh, loving it. So then finishing with Mom asking what happened to Miguel's hand, and Gran says, you don't want to know, implying that his hands are so bruised up from you already know. And I mean, yeah, dude, again, the grandma is just killing it right out of the gate.
Dude,
what's that?
She's the best.
She is
absolutely. Oh, Grandma.
So we move over to Miguel practicing and Johnny looking through piling up bills at the dojo. And Johnny asks, don't you have any friends? And then before he's like, what am I talking about? You don't have any friends. And I mean, dude, we got Johnny being Johnny right out of the gate. And I mean, everything about this show is what you want it to be.
Yeah, Johnny's kind of the guy, right? We all think things like this. We just don't say them, right? Like, we think these things that Johnny said. He just hasn't been, he's been a drunk guy for years, I guess. So he just outside of regular world, and he just can say whatever the hell he wants, right?
Oh, yeah.
You don't have any. It doesn't matter that it's a little kid.
Oh, in the 80s, he don't give a crap about nothing.
Yeah, it's so great. That's what I'm telling you. That's why I said episode 3 is where I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep watching this. I'm not gonna stop here. And you see why, like all the little funny things, Johnny just saying whatever.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you see right where he's at. Like Miguel tells him, "Is like you thought about advertising, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, duh." When you just know he hasn't. It's like he's in this shit show, got no money, bills piling up, and he's just now thinking about advertising. It's like, oh, you just gotta love it. Dude. So we go over to the LaRusso mansion with Daniel spying on his daughter, making out with Kyler, and his wife says, "Come on, you gotta believe that Cobra Kai guy over your own daughter." And you had spoken on something about that last week. Like, who do you believe in that situation, the daughter or Cobra Kai frenemy?
Dude, the enemy, he's an adult. Like, yes, adults lie too, but come on, kids lie way more, and they're scared of getting in trouble. Like, the same thing with the fight. Why? That's now you're starting to get into what I was talking about, where I'm like, it's like these crazy little misunderstandings that like create all these hijinks, right? It's like 80s, 90s television where it's just little misunderstandings cause these giant problems. And that's like one of the things. Like, oh, I don't believe him. I believe my daughter. And
he said, "Little kids are liars. She will lie to you." I was like, oh. But I mean, that's true. But again, you're like, this guy's kind of your, opponent or enemy or foe or whatever. It's like, maybe he's just trying to get under your skin. Maybe he's lying to you a little bit. Maybe he's exaggerating the truth. So, I mean, he's kind of in a precarious spot. He doesn't know exactly what to believe. But so Daniel gets to work and he's eating lunch with his boys, talking over the daughter's problem. And I loved when the one was acting like, don't, excuse me. He's like, if you act like this, you're going to drive her right into his arms, saying he's dated plenty of girls with daddy problems and they're the worst. And then grinning says, and the best. And I was like, dude, everything about this show, it's so spot on. I am just loving it.
Yeah, they know just the right moments to like laugh at themselves and just the right moments to like say things that you're like, dude, that's true.
Oh, just crushed the guidance counselor, dude, when she came into that lunchroom, boring the students with that "don't bully" speech, but then just lets it out how the other day a mom was telling her how her son was being bullied online because of his facial deformity. They're all like, it's him. I was like, dude, kill that guidance counselor.
Dude, that's one of those things that's funny and true at the same time. Like, adults do that. Yeah, adults do that. Like, it's crazy.
And especially somebody that might be like a guidance counselor at a middle school or something, or even a high school. I was just like, I was crying. I was like, that is so perfect. And that's exactly how it would play out. I'm just like, no way. But the first time I watched the Mean Girl scene, I thought the blonde was being just a total biatch, which she was. But on the rewatch to write the outline on this, I noticed that the girl in the glasses kind of gave her own little shade. I was like, that snarky little chloride is table salt. Like, duh, you dumb blonde. So
yeah.
Of course the mean girl was going to clap back twice as hard.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the theme of the show, right? The whole time you got Johnny versus Daniel. And, it's going to be a big theme that, I don't know how to say this without like spoiling too much, but balance is like what it is. Maybe I don't know, so this isn't a spoiler if anybody like has seen any. I've made it to beginning of season 2, so but it kind of seems like maybe the nerdy kids do need Cobra Kai, and maybe the bully kids do need like whatever, the Miyagi one. Like, it's going to be like that type of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like some little wimpy kids probably do need to learn to like sometimes be the dominant person in a situation.
Or just be able to protect yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then sometimes bullies need to learn to be, calmer, like think about things, like not be so rash, like Daniel was at the beginning of Karate Kid.
Peter Griffin's all about it. Balance, Miyagi-Do.
Yeah, Miyagi-Do. God, I cannot remember.
I hear a lot of people saying that. I think that's going to come up. That's going to be a thing. How do you like Johnny's 80s advertising gimmick? Hey, bro hams, kicks get chicks. I was like,
yeah.
Dude.
It's so funny. Like the dude's like, yeah, we were gonna go over and talk to him, but I think taking karate.
He's like, we're in karate. He's like, well, we were just gonna go over and talk to him, but yeah, karate lessons in the park from a total stranger might work. I was just like, holy shit, Johnny, what are you doing? And then the bum with like, want to see my bits? Like nobody wants to see your bits. Like everything about it was just straight out of the 80s, like terrible, like. Advertising's moved past that, buddy.
He says, the best line is that, like, she says, I want meth and tacos. And he's like, you can buy whatever you want with money. That's how money works.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's those little intricacies stuck in there that just make it everything.
Yo, I had to watch that like 4 times. I was like, did she say she wants meth? Like, I had to rewind it and that put this up. I'm like, she does say she wants meth. Like,
oh, yeah, absolutely. With no remorse. Just looked him right in his eyes and said it. So tell the truth. If your daughter leaves her laptop open while she's in the shower and you hear a message coming in through who you think is probably the boy you already don't like, do you check it?
Hell yeah, I do.
He's like, no holds barred. You're absolutely right, I do.
But I would have told her about it too. Like I'd be like, "Hey, why is this boy messaging you?" I like I kind of trust my daughter, to an extent.
Right. Kids are gonna be kids. I mean, they're always gonna test those boundaries. Do you think the wife knew what he was up to when he was doing that?
Oh yeah, like my wife always knows what I'm doing, so 100%.
They're always 2 steps ahead of us.
Either way, she knows. Like if I'm doing something sneaky, she'll be the first. Like she never watches me over my phone, but if I'm like looking at buying something, dude, she'll come up and she'll be like, "What are you looking at? You don't need to buy anything."
Oh, dude, it's just the way you're sitting and just your presence and how you're acting. She can just tell.
Absolutely. They know.
They know.
Dude. They know.
So awesome. Oh, so Johnny heads back to the dojo feeling a little defeated after the brohams kind of put him in his place. Nice headband, bro. And he sees what the bit lady's done with his sign and that he's probably spent that's probably 2/3 of his marketing budget that he just blew. And Johnny tells Miguel that today's training is canceled, but Miguel has something he thinks might cheer his sensei up. And while showing him the new website that he just makes, his phone rings with his newly downloaded 80s ringtone, and Johnny sees he's actually making a difference in this kid's life.
Yep.
Like, you think Johnny's got this kid on the right track so far?
Yep. I like it. Like I said, that he's one of those kids that like he has the potential, but he needed like the self-confidence, like to do it. Like, he had a bit of confidence, but he needed to learn, kind of bring back bring back the 80s. Like, don't become full on Johnny. That's not good. But some of it is good. When you take the first step, strike first. Yeah, like the strike first. And he went through with the strike first early, like maybe he talks to Sam earlier. He gets there before the douche dude does, right?
Maybe. Then the fight right in front of him, that becomes a thing. But absolutely, you never know. And now he'll never know. But that's going to become a thing. You figure, that's one of the last things I was going to say. But by the end of this, doesn't Johnny – yeah, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that after the other one. But so Johnny's so happy with his new insight, and he's inspired to get teaching again, and he tells Miguel to meet him at school at midnight. And shouldn't that be an instant red flag? This dude's telling a kid to meet him at the school at midnight. They just gloss right over that. But when you're thinking about that, that's so wrong in so many ways.
100% that gets brought up sometime later. Like how close he is with the kids and stuff. Some parent or somebody older, like the Broham dudes, Someone brings that up later. They're very aware of themselves. So I think that gets talked about later. Or like a little one-liner joke.
Oh, dude, yeah. No, it's so great. So Daniel shoots for Dickhead Dad of the Year by offering to chaperone his daughter's dance. And you think you do the same thing after reading one of those messages that your daughter received, finding out some kid has something big he wants to give her?
I probably wouldn't chaperone. I would probably go over and beat the little shit's ass, like, or threaten him. I don't know. I wouldn't chaperone, but I would not trust this shit. I might be calling her like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Knowing she ain't gonna answer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what are you gonna do? I'm not gonna chaperone. That's for sure. Because
kids got to grow up and learn some things on their own.
I got fantasy football to manage.
I know we're gonna have to bust out one of those teams next, dude. That's the fantasy football's dope. That was awesome hearing you won yours last year too. That's sweet. So I like how Johnny thinks that he should have asked if the kid knew how to swim after he ties his hand and pushes him into the deep end with his shoes on and everything. Like that's something you don't even think about. Just gonna tie him up and your lessons that's that. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's like in California. You know, I didn't even know. I grew up in Florida. I did not know that like there were really people that couldn't swim. I thought it was like an instinct, and everybody just naturally knew how to do it. Like I knew some people couldn't do it well, but I didn't know there was actually people who could not swim at all. In California, it doesn't have to be like the same thing. Pretty much, so like everybody can swim. There's pools everywhere.
Yeah, he's not from that part of California, but he's still from California. So yeah, you'd think he'd have it down. But I guess not everybody gets into the water. He's not a rich kid, so maybe he hasn't been hanging around in a bunch of pools and doesn't get out to the beach very often. But yeah, that is a little weird. But I mean, that's how a lot of old school, like I said, a lot of old schoolers. That's how they taught people. They just took the kids and threw them in the pond or the lake or whatever, and they're like, sink or swim. It's up to you. And basically, instincts take over, and you have to swim. So. You'd think that would happen, but I don't know if anybody's ever tried to swim with shoes on, but especially with my big ass size 14 feet, it ain't easy.
Oh man, with pants on too.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he had shorts, but still, I mean, yeah, that was crazy. And yeah, Peter Griffin, I know I love talking fantasy football. That's harsh. You got beat by 20 points. And yeah, my first week, half my team got injured, and it sounds like the same happened to Andy this week. So it's a rough start in the old fantasy life this year. Oh, maybe we'll talk about a little bit about that at the end. But how great was that when Johnny totally bags on the kid's costume, and now it's just some generic superhero? Yeah, a poor one at that. Haha, you're poor, man. Dude. He just has no remorse for these kids' feelings.
Dude, it's so fun. That's so great because think about 80s, like a junky ass costume, like you would get made fun of for that. Oh man!
Oh, what's up, Jay Cruz? Good to see you made it. Good to see you made it. See you out there. Oh, Johnny, just no remorse, breaking up the kids kissing, trying to recruit, and just spelling it out at all. It's DCOM. I was crying. He is so just 80s and out of like reality. And
period.
What's that?
He says period. He doesn't say .com. He's like period COM.
Like, everything. I was just like, he is so out of it. Like, how does he not own a computer, know anything about online? Nothing. Like, I mean, I'm pretty ill tech out. I'm not a techie guy, but I mean, come on, being that out of it this late in the game, that's almost unrealistic.
Yeah, but I think it's meant to be unrealistic in that way, right? It's like you took a guy out of the 80s. He was like stuck in the 80s. That's why at the beginning of the series, it shows him just watching 80s movies all the time on his tube television.
Tube, yeah. But he's hanging flat screens. I mean, at least he knows they exist.
Yeah, true.
But unbelievable. So we'd see at the dinner table and at the dance that Sam actually has a soul and feels bad about not hanging out with her old friend as much. Is this all kind of foreshadowing that she's going to be too good a person to hang out in the Mean Girl crew?
Yeah,
Like
probably.
when she was at the table with her mom and Daniel, she said she was feeling bad about not going. It's the same thing. And then when she went up to her at the locker, you know, she kind of said how bad she felt. I mean, she showed, at least we see that she has a soul.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel's not a bad guy. He just has a bad spot for Johnny, right?
Oh, he's
So,
part for life.
you know, that brings out the worst in him. So he's gonna raise his kids probably pretty good. At least the first one. Dude, I hate his son. I don't even know what his son's there for.
Oh, to hate. You're supposed to
Dude,
hate him. I would have smacked the crap out of that kid, dude. He'd have picked his ass up off the floor so many times.
I don't know if it's like the kid's meant to be there to just be a thorn in Daniel's side, or like to show that he's not perfect because he raised this little shit. Like I don't know. I hate him. Anytime he's on the screen, it's like he's the worst.
Peter Griffin wants to know, you can't remember, did Johnny back with one finger while typing?
Yep.
Oh, that is so classic. You got Jay Cruz saying his son's punk, but Sam's all right. I think, yeah, Sam seems to be pretty good. She seems to have her head on her shoulders. I mean, of course, any girl's going to want to be part of the cool crew. Hey, what's up, Lindar? I see you out there. Great stream the other day on LMR. That was a fun one. But yeah, his son is just so irritating. He would be so done.
He has some funny lines later, but it's not worth it. Like him as a character, I'd rather he not exist and forego those couple funny lines he has. But dude, when I don't know if this episode, you got to this episode where I'm gonna say it's not a major thing. When he orders a PS Vita, is that in the have you gotten to that episode yet? Where he's like, Alexa, order PS Vita.
Oh, he hasn't talked to any Alexa
yet.
Dude,
I got so freaking mad at that. You'll see. It's got to be like the next episode. Oh my god, I hate that so much.
We'll get to that one next week. But it was funny when Johnny, thinking it would be perfectly fine for just some random older dude to be walking around hanging up flyers in his like non-sanctioned gym to a bunch of kids doing karate and knowing he doesn't have insurance. I was like, just like the knowing little things like that, you're like, that's just not okay. Just some random dude walking around trying to put flyers of his dojo up. Like, come on. Like that in itself had me cracking up. And I like how when they were like trying to work up the nerve to ask the Dragon Queens to dance, we got a little shout out to all my Game of Thrones people out there, seeing the Daenerys out there. And they lost one, and then Miguel has to like tell the lip surgeon who's standing right there next to him, just lost one to Doctor Who. Like he didn't just see that happen right in front of his face. Like, I don't know why that just made me laugh so hard. It was crazy. I just noticed the dojo. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving the Cobra Kai so far. Getting into it, I thought that was pretty great. So as luck would have it, Johnny ends up reminiscing about his own high school days right outside the door where Miguel just gets his ass whipped, severely handed to him. But, hey, you know, it was total Cobra Kai, strike first. And, yeah, he struck first, check. Struck hard, kind of check. It's just that one that he's the one that got shown no mercy. And that poor boy just, when they closed that locker, I was like, what's that going to do? Like, if anybody comes in, they're just going to open that back up, right? I mean, or did they literally, like, lock him in there and just whip his ass? And if somebody came in, they're just going to keep beating him in front of him? I thought that was kind of funny. A little over the top, like closing the cage.
Yeah, but if someone was going to run, like if you really think about it, if he's trying to run, now he has to open the door towards him. So that makes it so you can't escape, right? Like if you were trying to get out and you have to stop and pull a door towards you, now you get caught. If you could just bust through.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think I can, my arms are long enough. I think if I was running, I'd be running and get them fingertips and just whip it and just whoop. But I don't know. It was just for the over effect, the Hollywood effect. It wasn't crazy, but it just kind of took me out of it for a second. I was like, come on. But yeah, he just got it handed. When he picked up that lacrosse stick, you're like, oh, he's going to feel that one in the morning. Oh, that was pretty great. So that was pretty much for episode 3. Anything else to say on that one before we jump over into episode 4?
I don't think so. I can't wait until you get like the lip kid. He's my favorite character.
Oh,
but
dude, yeah.
He's so timid right now. Like, it's funny.
And I told you, I actually watched 5, so I kind of think I might know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's up? We got Lord Commander Alicia Kingston just hit the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you out there. Oh, just in here talking some Cobra Kai. Just got through episode 3 and about to jump into episode 4. Cobra Kai Never Dies. Episode 4 opens up with Robbie, Johnny's kid, stealing laptops in a pretty elaborate scheme. And we see just how ruthless the boys he's hanging out with are when they not only have him sell the stolen laptop, but tell him to have all 3 potential buyers put up half the money and then just sell it to whoever shows up first. You're like, it's right on the way. These kids are no good.
And isn't it like weird that Robbie's hesitant about it? You just stole someone's computer that he told you had important stuff on it. But yet you feel bad about stealing money from 3 people. Like, he was like, it doesn't make any sense. But I guess it's like the parenting thing. Like, he doesn't have any kind of parent-family connection. So I guess I can justify it. Like,
he's trying to pick up who's right. He probably figures the guy he stole it from is just some idiot that can afford to buy another one. And these guys that are buying it now are just kind of like him, just trying to get a laptop because they can't afford it. Oh, could be. Who's the skinny man with Andy's face? Looking good, my guy. I see you with the. Oh, yeah. Man's out there losing them pounds, getting in shape, looking good, looking good.
Yeah.
On the right path. So as they skate away, Robbie picks up a Cobra Kai flyer, and he acts all disgusted, but he was interested enough to pick it up. So was that trying to show us that he still would like to make up with his dad, or was he really just disgusted by seeing his dad's picture on there?
Probably a little bit of both, right? Like, you see your dad. If I saw a picture of my dad's face on the ground, I would probably pick it up too and be like, at
least check it out.
Yeah. Like, my stupid deadbeat dad's trying to start up a freaking karate dojo. Like, idiot.
So we see a quick montage with flashes of the night before and Miguel's mama saying no more karate. And Johnny apologizes, saying he never should have gotten involved, with Miguel screaming, "Cobra Kai never dies" in the background. And it's an understandable response from the mom, but wouldn't it be more, wouldn't that prove more than anything that he actually needed some karate in his life?
Yeah.
If you're sitting there with don't you think karate is exactly what you need?
Yeah, but what if he was like, yeah, I learned like to strike first and strike hard, and they know that's why he got his ass kicked. All right. It's on. Yep. Sorry.
Crazy. No, yeah, that was me, I think. Computer going a little wacky. But yeah, absolutely. So then Daniel tries to make his daughter an apology breakfast, but she's having nothing to do with him. But we get another glimpse, and like we were talking about earlier, just how spoiled the little sloth his son is, as he's just shoving pancakes piled high with whipped cream into his gullet. And I think they're pretty much just making you try to hate this kid.
Oh, the cringe too. Like, I hate being sticky. That scene bothered me more than like it should have, because he like has syrup all over his hands and stuff. Oh my god, it grossed me out. Like, I'm messy eater as it is. Like, I don't care, but man, and he's just, they're trying to make him like show the epitome of gluttony. Like, everybody is their extreme in this show. Extreme nerds, like extreme bullies, and extreme glutton there.
Exactly. Just sloth and gluttonous. It's like there's just nothing likable about this kid so far. Just head down in the video game, like, I'm thirsty. Dad, where's my drink? Like, I'm going to throw him in the pool. You should throw him in the pool with the hand. Are you kidding me? But Daniel's feeling pretty down, not thinking things could get much worse. But au contraire, mon frere, because to pile on, he gets to see their billboard that he has with now has a huge dick spray painted into his mouth. Go, Johnny, go. Did you know right out of the gate that was Johnny?
Oh, yeah. Because, at the end of last episode, I thought it almost seemed like he was drunk and he was going to do the right thing and tell the guy, hey, stop spray painting that wall. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Why would they do that? And he's like, I'll trade you cans. Like, so he gives this kid beer so that they can have the spray paint. So, yeah, I knew.
And that's one of the good things about, like, I always watch this show just to watch it and enjoy it. And then I go back and rewatch it to write out the outline. And I'm glad I do it that way because there is just so much that I miss on the first watch around. Oh yeah, Jay Cruz, he traded cans, and that's I didn't even realize that in the first time I watched it. And then when I went back in the rewatch, I was like, so you did know it was Johnny all the time, which makes it even funnier when the dude's up there. He's like, oh, I just stepped in dog, and he's like, how would a dog get up here?
And then, here's the funny thing, you know that has to be lit up at night. So just imagine you're like. You're driving by and you just see some dude squatting like up on the thing.
Underneath the big dick in the mouth. Yeah. It just all signs point to no good. I don't know much about this show, but I've heard it's good. Had to come through and show some love. Oh, so glad you came through, AK. Absolutely. You got to get into this show. This is a great time to catch up. This is a fun one. Everything about it is amazing. What's up? I see Spots just hit the chat. Good to see you out there. Good to see you. Having some fun with some Cobra Kai. But back to a banged up Miguel who still wants to train, but Mama's like, no way. And how great is the grandma? It's like, what he needs is more training, like we were just saying.
Yeah.
And he hands up, and she starts bopping around. And again, I'm like, Grandma is one of my favorite characters. I love this woman.
She's the best. Telling you.
She is absolutely slaying it in every scene she's in, and she has like seconds, but she just kills it every time she's on the screen. Oh, and then I mean, that's been the greatest transition in the show so far. He's like, he's not a loser. If you knew him, you'd see he's a great man. And you just fade to Johnny, just passed out on the floor with open. I was like, oh, how bad does this kid need a father figure? I was just crying. That was the greatest transition so far.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of this episode. I want to bring that back up.
Oh, that is, yeah, Johnny is amazing. So Johnny gets a call and finds out that his own son's been out of school for a month, and on his way to look for him, he runs into Miguel outside and says that he's closing down the dojo. Well, that would make for a pretty short season if that happens. I mean, we already know that's not going to happen. But Johnny, so he tells that, so they're thinking they're going to close down the dojo. Joe, you're not thinking that's going to happen at all, obviously, right then. Or did you think that he might close down the dojo and they might take this in a different direction?
No, I think I definitely knew they weren't closing down the dojo. Because it's more about, like, Miguel, right? Like, he's the adult in this situation. He's just not the adult. Right? He doesn't have all the information. He doesn't have the skills, but he's the mature one in this relationship. It's like awesome. He's teaching Johnny about the world as Johnny's teaching him about karate. So there you go. I'm learning just as much from you as you are from me. I believe that. So back to school, and the poor nerdy girl is getting picked on again. And how do you think I feel? I've gone viral, and they have short minds. They'll forget. Yeah, well, I won't. And I'm like, ooh, this girl's going to learn some karate. But then I'm thinking, like, what's she going to do? Kick everybody in the school's ass one by one for making fun of her? Or, like, how's that work out? Oh, she's going to do something great. He's
like, see, you already know parts of this. It's like, you know it's coming, and you actually know it's coming. I just know that it is coming.
She is going to cause some pain to somebody.
I love any scene when Johnny goes to the liquor store. Oh, that must be something. I don't think I've seen that one yet. Oh, absolutely. This one is, all about that karate. Oh, but yeah, we already talked about stepping dog shit. How would a dog even get up here? It's like, We get a quick scene at just how inept and unwith it Daniel's cousin is. Like their wife's already called, like your cousin's late again. I gotta go. So we already see that she's kind of fed up with them. And then like, obviously, if Daniel sends you up there, the first thing he's gonna want covered up is the dick going into his mouth. But yeah, this guy's trying to do it all proper, like from the sides. It's like, come on, man. He's like, and then he tries to explain it like, if you knew anything about painting, it's like, dude, like as if that's the point. So it's like, is that going to come into play later about how big a dipshit his cousin really is?
Yeah, for sure. But
you already know. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of asking like that kind of asked you, right? They're setting that up, right?
Yeah, they're definitely setting that up. But I think there's something like weirder about it, right? Like, why does that bother Daniel so much? Right? Like, he must have a crazy amount of like arrogance or pride. Dude, he sends his just 2 salesmen up there to paint the thing right away. Who cares? Like the wife, she's reasonable. She's like,
no, the wife would be just as much on it as he was if it was her face up there with a big dick spray painted in her mouth. I guarantee it. Nobody wants to be on the boulevard with the most popular street ever. That's why he said he picked that, because of all the traffic there, with a big dick going in your mouth. Nobody wants to be that guy.
dude, I would laugh. I mean, I would change it, but I wouldn't be like, we need to go up there right now and change it. I would, just laugh about it for a couple days.
But like Linda tells us, Danny's like been like that as a kid. Like he's just never changed. He's always kind of been like that, kind of a hothead. But I mean, if you bring in, that's the other thing. If you bring your cousin, he's always messing up, and you're just doing him a favor by even having him here and giving him a job, that'd be exactly the person you'd send up there to go take care of that shit instantly. Like painters are going to be like, oh yeah, we can get to it next month. We got a big job on now. They're like, no, you send your cousin that you're hooking up. Get your ass up there with a bucket of paint and take care of that. That's exactly how I do it. I know that.
Oh man, I would just leave it for a couple days.
No way.
You don't even. I would never have a business probably because I would leave it for a couple days. I would be making jokes like dude. Think of all the opportunities you could have in the future when you're advertising on all your stupid commercials. Like the wife
had a big dick in his mouth, right?
Yeah, like his wife is hilarious. She's like, it's the Dick's billboard now, and like, we blow away the competition. Like that shit was funny.
Oh, not as funny as old boy. Oh, you don't want a boba tea? You must be full from eating all that dick. It's just like, you're getting it. You already know this is coming. But Jay Cruz has a point. When people see it, I mean, they're going to know it's graffiti, but that's just something you don't want to be known as, the dick dude.
Like, I mean, he's the karate dude, which is more. I'd rather be known as the dick dude than the karate dude, honestly.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, hey, if that's your thing and that's what you're into and you're like showing it, that's one thing. But this is obviously somebody punking him, and that's just a sign of disrespect. And nobody wants a sign of disrespect, just hanging on Ventura Boulevard for months at a time.
True.
But when Johnny's able to track down his son, I guess he couldn't hear me over the boombox. What's a boombox? What's that thing on your face? Just instantly right into like just kid. No, nanny. I was loving it, dude.
That's hilarious.
That was one of the best lines in the show so far. I was like, "What's on your face?" Mustache. Like that was pretty great. But Robbie knows just how to hit below the belt. Johnny says you still have your whole life ahead of you, so I can grow up and own a strip mall karate school like you. And like the guys start all snickering. Or be like your old friend Daniel LaRusso. Must be nice to be a winner. I was like, this kid's just hitting all kinds of below the belt.
Yeah.
Dude, did Johnny have this coming, or are we going to find out like he had a decent reason to leave? I mean, I can't imagine any reason that can be strong enough for me not to see my kid for 16 years. But does Johnny kind of have all this coming?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, but it show like if you look at that scene as a whole, it shows that like he cares about his kid, just in the fact that he didn't roast the shit out of him, right? He was so quick-witted. Like the dude's like, "What's a boombox? What's that thing on your face?" That shows how good he is at talking shit, right? And he's showing it multiple times. But his son comes at him, and he doesn't really do anything. He just tries to be a dad, but he realizes he doesn't know how to be a dad.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So back to school, and we're reminded that it's not just the girls who have a mean club, and Kyler's the real douche. But at least this time, Sam gets to see it for herself, and like we see that this obviously isn't gonna last. And again, I can't believe that she even went to the movies with him after seeing that. Like, why not just break the date right then and there?
Man, you just skipped over like one of the best lines in the episode. He says, "It's whom. It's the object of the preposition, yo." Remember my English? Because they were just talking about how stupid he was, like an episode before that, and then he's like correcting grammar. That was hilarious.
That was pretty slick. That was a great line, and because they were just talking about what the big dumb one, even like he even kicked the shit out of the big dumb one or whatever. It's like, yeah, he's not a big dumb one though. So yeah, that is pretty slick. Great for pointing that one out. But I can't believe that she even went. Like, I get it, like maybe she's just kind of figuring it out, and then maybe it took him creeping on her or whatever. But yeah, I was shocked that she even actually went to the movies with him. Yeah. But Miguel's mom comes home to pick him up, comes to school to pick him up to keep him away from karate, and he is just so bummed. All he wants to do is go home. And what did she think was going to happen? I mean, obviously that's the new greatest thing in his life, and she thinks she's just going to kick him out and take him to the movies with popcorn and M&Ms, and everything's just going to be all hunky dory again.
I don't know. I'm with you.
On the flip side of that, I mean, you realize, she's obviously a single mom, probably working a couple of jobs, dead on her feet, and she goes out of her way to reschedule to just come and hang out with her. I mean, she's kind of trying to show her son, I love you and want to be here for you. And he's just like, let's just go home. She looked at him like, you little mother, like, this is my first day off and I don't know how long, and you want to just go home? Like, I was kind of feeling for her a little bit in that one, but you knew where he was coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not at that age with my kid yet, but I know it's coming. You don't want to be around your parent,
Oh, it's always,
especially if she's doing it for a reason. Like, it seems, backhanded in a way. Like, oh, I'm gonna watch over. We'll do all this fun stuff, but in reality, I'm just making sure you're not doing the thing that I don't want you to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. So back at the car dealership, and Daniel sees that his competitors got a new commercial and absolutely just snaps. And I thought that was
that was one of the funniest commercials too. Like every little thing, the cactus, the American, like it's so funny. Every little thing making fun of Daniel's commercials.
Dude, you must get coming. Yeah, that was pretty great. And then he goes in and he freaks out. But before we get there, Johnny tracks down his ex to talk about the sun dropping out, and you should be at home with our son. He's like, for the record, I came here looking for a bartending job. You need an application, Chan? Shut up, Terry. I was just lying. I was like, that was so sweet. Like, I could see that exact scenario just playing out exactly that way. That was great.
Yeah, that's so funny too. And she's kind of right too. Like, now you're a dad. Get the hell out of here. Like, I get it I see her point of view too. And the whole time, Robbie's just like, it sucks for him. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
How about Robbie looks exactly like Jonathan Taylor Thomas to me? Like, in my head, they're like the same. They're the same person. You know who Jonathan Taylor Thomas? He's like the 90s kid that looked just like Robbie. He was in like everything. Home Improvement.
Okay. I got you.
He was in a bunch of stuff. But I have sisters, so they had his picture all over the wall when I was a kid.
He's a little more ingrained in your brain.
Yeah, so it looks just like him.
So, yeah, that's going to be taking you back. Our table's ready. Word of advice. She's not going to go down on you unless you buy her dessert. Okay, I'll just let you finish. I'll be over here. I was like, this show is so priceless. Like,
and then he orders dessert on the way to the table. Like, that's the best.
Oh, dude, he's like, I hear they have a magnificent brown Betty crumble. Like, yeah. getting it in. No, that was priceless. Yeah, the writing in this is just incredible, especially if you just lay back and let it happen. Absolutely amazing.
That's what
So Johnny actually suggests that Robbie come lives with him, and after saying that she can't get him to do anything anymore, why not let him go live with Johnny?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she
I mean,
doesn't want to let it go.
I mean, I guess she is already talking about like when, once the kid leaves or whatever, going to be lonely. That might have been in the next one. Like I said, I saw episode 5 already. But I mean, yeah, she's worried about Robbie getting older and leaving her. So, I mean, I guess you can kind of see that. But I mean, still, if there's nothing she can do and she knows what a bad pass her son's on, why not let Johnny give it a try? Or is Johnny just such a loser she doesn't want him to make him even worse?
Yeah, maybe. Or, people have a hard time letting go of the past. And if you had like this kid for 16 years because the dad was never around, like, how would you let that go? We got Daniel who can't even let go like the one summer that Johnny was a jerk to him. Like even at the end, Johnny like gives him the trophy and he says, "You're all right, Daniel," or whatever shit he says, right? So it was only a short period of time where they like fought, and Daniel cannot let this go.
Oh, dude! Like, I know about bullying. I got kicked down a hill on my bike. Like he's still holding them scars deep.
So imagine you have a kid with this person, and he's like never there, does any of the important stuff, any of the hard stuff. So we can't expect her to just let that go either.
That's true. That's true. So Daniel decides to pay a visit to the competition, and it doesn't go well. And Daniel shows that he's still got it as he roundhouses a boba tea right out of the jackass's hand. And that was pretty sweet to see that Daniel actually does still got it.
Did you know what a boba was before this show?
I did, actually. Sadly enough. Yeah, that's a thing up here in Seattle. Sadly, that is a thing up here in Seattle. That's ridiculous.
Have you had one?
I don't like it. They're gross. I don't like them. Chunky little milkshakes. Not even milkshakes. Like watery. They're not good. But yeah, you're not missing out on anything. That's for damn sure. J. Cruz says circumstances keep this rivalry going. So is it Johnny? What do you think? Is it Johnny keeping it going or Daniel?
No, it's Daniel.
Going 100%.
It's Daniel. Right? Daniel for sure. Like Johnny doesn't want really any part of it. It's Daniel that keeps like the grudge going, and he's gonna be the one who has a bunch of misunderstandings. He doesn't believe Johnny because of the past, so he just assumes that he's lying. Like all this shit, if he would just talk to Johnny, then it would work out.
Exactly. Just sit down and just work it out. Just talk it out. Talk it out. So there's not a lot of talking going on at the movies where Kyler and Sam are, and it's not going well. And Sam already saw what he did to the nerds, and she is none too pleased. He still goes in for his moves, and we see Daniel's not the only one that still has it. Sam has some moves of her own. She's a little karate and knocks Kyler right back down on his ass.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Daniel, that's one good thing he did. Taught the daughter some karate, and she is all up in it. She's like, "You're not touching me if I don't want to be touched, sucker." That was pretty sweet. So then we got Johnny out eating dinner and sees a man and his son at another table, and knowing he's already blown it with his son, he feels there's still a chance with Miguel, the one person in the world that hasn't given up on him. Time to talk to Mama. Did you already know that it was coming? I mean, you knew he was going to get it back, but what's going to happen is Johnny and Miguel's mom going to end up hooking up?
That would be cool. Sort of, I guess. Like, that would be another conflict, right? Like, how do you keep, like, the 80s style conflicts going? Like, there has to be, like, misunderstandings. Like, maybe Miguel doesn't want him as a stepdad. Maybe Miguel goes over to Cobra Kai and then, to Miyagi style, and then Johnny starts banging his mom. Like, we got a lot of potential for 80s style conflict, so that's one of them for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And Grandma's already said that she likes him. Is this foreshadowing? Like I said, like, is that the mom and Johnny are going to hook up, or is that foreshadowing? Like, the way this show's going, they'll probably put a sick twist up on it, and Johnny will screw up and end up with the grandma. That would be hilarious, dude. That would be fantastic. Oh, this is what I was saying before. We need a group to watch only Daniel scenes and another group to watch only Johnny scenes. See whose sides you take when you get only one point of view. Yeah, I love the way they're splitting it up. I think it's pretty sweet the way that they're doing it. Then he keeps bringing it up to Johnny. Johnny didn't really care. Johnny's just trying to get on with his life and like make things happen, get out of the gutter. And just Daniel cannot let go. Got everything in the world. Great house, great family, just beautiful kid, and just nothing. Still just nothing but Johnny on his mind, which is just nuts. Oh, Team Danny, Team Johnny. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one to call at this point, which one I would be on. But it's breakfast time again. What do you say? You'd be Team Johnny. I already know you'd be Team Johnny.
Yeah, with it.
Yeah.
He says stuff all the time that I say constantly, like, or that I think I understand his point of view perfectly. And I'm like, I just agree with him too much, I think.
It makes sense. It just makes sense. So breakfast time again at the LaRusso household, and Daniel didn't make pancakes, and the son asked, what is this, Afghanistan? And again, you just want to knock the little guy. And I got to be real. Like I said, if that was my kid, he'd be picking himself up off the floor. It's like, you're going to learn today. But I thought this wasn't a restaurant. Just eat your muffin. And we can see that it seems like Daniel kind of has a favorite when it comes to the kids, which how could you not? But
yeah, that's why I have one. My daughter is awesome, right? If I had another kid and it ended up like that, I would be so mad.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, right. It's like, where did I go wrong? The first one was so perfect.
Yeah, why can't you be more like your sister? That'd be me.
So Sam's back, and Daniel's floating on air again, reminding us just how much he loves his daughter. And then we get back to Miguel, and he says, my mom says I can train again. Well, then I need to teach you some defense. And the best defense is more offense. Yeah! And I was like, such a Johnny line. I was like, hell yeah. I was like,
how about,
you
know how wrong he is, though? Like,
that's the beauty of it. That's what makes it great.
I just think all I can think is like I took a bunch of war classes when I was younger, and like that's what Hitler did. That's how Hitler lost World War II. Is like he tried to fight on all fronts, and he just kept pressing forward and spread himself too thin, and didn't focus on defense enough. So when Johnny said that, I was like, he's like basically becoming Hitler's, blitzkrieg tactics.
Anybody who's played more than a handful of games of Stratego knows Risk knows exactly what's up. It's like, you can't do that. You can't spread yourself too thin. You got to be up. Oh, but my mom says, so he's happy again. He can train again, and Daniel's back on top of the world, and that is until he gets to the dealership and finds out that it wasn't the car competitor at all that drew the dick. It was our boy Johnny. I was like, that was a great, pretty ending. He just sat there and looked. Everything's just going Daniel again, and then just one more kick to the face. Like, just can't get away from Johnny. That was a pretty sweet one. I love that. But the other one I was thinking, like, besides Johnny and the mom or grandma, it's like, how long until Johnny's kid and Daniel's kid hook up together? Like that would be the amazing drama, right? Those two hook up, and now all of a sudden these two, like, their kids are dating. Like, that has to happen at some point in the show, right?
Right.
I mean, it has to. Like, yeah, you're not gonna have two kids the same age, have two parents that hate each other, have this kind of show, and not have those two end up hooking up sooner or later. Which is kind of a bummer for Miguel, because we want Miguel, the hero of the story, to get there, but I don't know if it's gonna happen for him. Oh, what's up, Nixie? Good to see you out there. Good to see you. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's pretty much episode 3 and 4. What do you think so far? How's it? I know you're a little farther in the game, but you said 3 is where it pretty much picked up, and you knew you were all in on this one?
Yeah, that's where I just started going. I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch the next one, and next one, and next one. Yeah, this is where I really... It got like the 80s, nostalgia of Karate Kid, perfect kind of humor, self-deprecation. It had it all. Plus, they get to flip it on your head, and you're like your views on your head, on their head, whatever. so that you really start to like Johnny more, and you're like, dang, Daniel's kind of a dick. I thought Daniel was kind of a dick in the beginning, but as it goes, I'm like, man, he's like way worse than I thought in the beginning around these episodes. Yeah, I think it's the next episode where you're like, damn, he's an asshole, and his wife points it out. But
yeah, oh, that's coming. The wife and him are going to come to a head. You can see that. That's why I was already asking. It's like, and I think that was like in the first episode. I was like, first of all, this wife was acting way too perfect housewifey, and it's like that would be the ultimate. Is all of a sudden like they break up and Johnny and the wife hook up. Like she's out with her friends, ends up getting all wasted or whatever, and Johnny ends up something. That would be the ultimate. You can see that going. But I think it's a lot more likely that their son and daughter, end up hooking up. That's 100% going to happen in my head. And I think it'd be awesome if they go Adam Sandler, and in one way or the other, he ends up like kind of starting to see the mom, but ends up sleeping with the grandma. Like I could just for some reason see that happening.
well, I think it kind of shows like it's that old phrase, like something about a man just needs the love of a good woman. Like, think how crazy Daniel would be if he didn't have his wife telling him what to do, right? Like keeping him sane. She keeps him grounded. Otherwise, he would lose his mind. Like this constantly happens through the show, and Johnny doesn't have that. So of course he's gonna behave worse. He's a bachelor. He needs Miguel's mom to show him what's up.
Right. Yeah. We'll try to keep him in line.
We don't do these things. What are you, crazy?
Yeah, I can see that happening. But Jake Cruz, I might have to I don't remember. I remember hating Karate Kid 3, but I don't remember that much about it. I remember Daniel being way too old to play that character. But yeah, I don't remember exactly what all went down. It says you have to remember Karate Kid 3 to understand Daniel's real concern. You remember what he's talking about in that one?
No. I'll have to watch it on Friday. We're going through them all.
Oh, you're going back through all the Karate Kids? I never even saw the one with Will Kidd's kid. I never even saw that one. It's like I was just like I said after 3, I was like, it's a debacle. I just can't do it. Oh, I'm gonna go back and watch Karate Kid first. I only like the first Karate Kid. Yeah, the first Karate Kid was great. The second one was not horrible, but the third one was not great. It was just great. Oh, but yeah. So, anything else to say on these two? I think we're moving in the right direction. I like how it's going. I think the website that old boy made is going to hit, and all of a sudden, he's got to get some kids. I mean, he got a dojo. You can't have a dojo without students, so I figure that's got to happen. So the kids are coming. He's going to have some kids, and then he's going to have like a whole crew to distort. Like, is he going to turn them all into like old school Cobra Kai, and they're going to walk around like in crews, like big gangs bullying, like him and his boys did back when they were younger?
Maybe. Like, I don't know. I think he wants to be different, but we'll see what happens.
We'll definitely have to see what's up. We should do a review of the movies on Friday. Man, I don't know if I can get the movies watched by then, but yeah, maybe like at the end of each, like once we do this one, like do a Karate Kid and like do a review of the movie, and then go through season 2, and then do Karate Kid 2 and do a review of the movie, and then same with 3. I mean, that'd be one way to do it. That might actually give me enough time to actually get it in and do it.
Then you could point out like all of the little subtleties.
Exactly what they're bringing in, because there has to be a bunch of tie-ins. They had to go back and tie all that shit in.
Man, does Nix? Did you like spam someone's page? Because every one of her things like has to be approved.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. YouTube doesn't like her. What have you been doing on YouTube? Did they automatically filter in what you write?
Nixie, why are they filtering you? Why are they censoring my Nixie? What? Yeah, every time we have to like show your stuff. Every one of your things is here. Did something get clicked on you?
Oh, not that one.
Report removed. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, I've
I
been
was
doing
just
that too.
wondering.
I think, and you've been catching them too, right? Clicking them in.
Yeah. Oh, there's one. Because it says shit. This one.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, if they cuss, they'll automatically block it. Well, yeah, look at that. That's good to know. Like, why are they blocking her like that? I wonder if that's is that happening? Have you heard about that? Not heard about that happening on other chats, Nixie? Because that's messed up. Can't be censoring my Nixie PX. Oh man, yeah, that's weird. Wow, sorry. Yeah, that's crazy. So weird. And I just clicked on your name. I mean, you don't have anything weird on there. Yeah, that's crazy. Wonder what happened. I wonder what happened. Oh well, that's gonna do it for us. Yeah, like I said, we one of these days we're gonna break out. Have you had a chance to watch The Boys yet? See the first episode of The Boys? Dude, yeah, that's coming too. We got to do that. That's an amazing show. I've been kind of holding out on watching season 2, but
is it better than The Wire?
How would I know?
Mm.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Absolutely. Oh, well, we want to thank everybody for coming out. Cobra Kai Never Dies. We just hit that hour mark. So, yeah, I definitely want to nip this one and keep them right there. And, yep, we're going to be doing this. I'm going to try to set it up. We'll try, like I said, between 6:30, 6:45 every single Tuesday. And next week we'll be on with episode 5 and 6. So, once again, I want to thank everybody for making their way out today. And until we see you next time, have an absolutely amazing week, a better weekend, and we will see you Tuesday. Easy.